It's Tuesday, 10 September. Welcome to the PDB Afternoon Bulletin. I'm Mike Baker, your eyes and ears on the world stage. Let's get briefed. First, Moscow is reeling following a massive overnight drone attack by Ukraine, and that's their largest attack on the Russian capital since the start of Putin's war. Also, an alleged Israeli airstrike in Syria appears to have struck a major research center of the Syrian military that's been linked to the production of chemical weapons. But first, our afternoon spotlight. I want to begin in Moscow, where Ukrainian forces struck the Russian capital on Tuesday in their largest drone attack of the war, resulting in the death of at least one individual and the destruction of multiple high-rise buildings. While there's been no official comment yet from Kyiv, the Russian Ministry of Defense said Tuesday that their forces had destroyed 144 incoming Ukrainian drones across multiple regions, both near the border and inland, with roughly 20 intercepted while swarming over the Moscow region. While the Russian Defense Ministry touted their air defenses in their statement, an unknown number of drones managed to break through, striking high-rise apartment buildings in a Moscow district. The strikes killed a 46-year-old woman and injured 3 others, and left many of the apartments severely damaged. The chaos prompted authorities to close 3 of Moscow's 4 regional airports for more than 6 hours, diverting scores of flights. Even after more than 2 years of fighting, drone attacks on Moscow have been a rare occurrence. On August 21st, Russian forces shot down 11 incoming Ukrainian drones targeting Moscow, and the last incident before that occurred back in May, though that attack only involved 1 drone. With Kyiv's forces now firmly embedded inside Russia's Kursk region, their military has expanded their reach, and they appear to be getting bolder in their offensive strikes. Russian authorities condemned the drone attack on Tuesday, calling such attacks, quote, terrorism for targeting civilian infrastructure. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, rather ironically, said, quote, the Kyiv regime continues to demonstrate its nature. They are our enemies, and we must continue the special military operation to protect ourselves from such actions, end quote. Peskov apparently lacks the capacity for self-reflection. We should note, thousands of Ukrainian civilians have been killed in Russian missile and drone attacks since the war began in February 2022. Just last week, Russia launched one of their deadliest missile attacks on Ukrainian territory since the war broke out, striking a military training academy and a nearby hospital in eastern Ukraine. And that event killed more than 50 people and wounded more than 200. On Sunday, another 2 Ukrainians were killed in a Russian airstrike on the city of Sumy near the front lines in eastern Ukraine. We should also point out that the Kremlin launched their own drone and missile attack overnight on Tuesday against multiple regions in Ukraine. The Ukrainian military reportedly shot down 38 of the 46 Russian drones, but said the ones that broke through damaged buildings and infrastructure and injured 3. As is apparent, Ukraine has been increasingly eager to bring the fight to Russian soil. At a meeting with Western military leaders last Friday in Germany, Ukrainian President Zelensky reiterated his request to allies that they lift restrictions on the use of Western-supplied long-range missiles to strike targets deep inside of Russia. So far, Canada and Lithuania have given their express consent to waive the restrictions, but the U.S. and other allies are still reportedly weighing concerns about the risk of escalation. In response to U.S. hesitancy, Ukraine has accelerated the development of its own weapons, including a domestically produced ballistic missile and a drone missile, which was recently used against Russian forces. Coming up after the break, an alleged Israeli airstrike in Syria appears to have struck a major research center of the Syrian military that's been linked to the production of chemical weapons. I'll be right back. You know, every day we hear more about surveillance and how our right to privacy is being infringed upon, and it's true. It feels like we're living in a world where nothing is truly private anymore. Most of us, look, for the sake of convenience, we hand over our personal information without a second thought, signing up for services, shopping online, using social media. But this convenience comes at a cost. It's time for us to take a stand and fight back for our right to privacy. Now, one tool that's been essential for me in this fight is the all-in-one privacy app, MySudo. That's MySudo. It's an app that lets you create multiple digital identities with separate phone numbers and emails so you can keep your personal information private. And in this age of constant surveillance, having my pseudo is crucial. For my listeners, I've got a special deal. Go to mypseudo.com/Mike Baker and use code Mike Baker to get 30 days free on a Pseudo Pro yearly subscription. Take back your privacy with my pseudo. Trust me, it's worth it. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. On Sunday night, Israeli airstrikes hit a facility in central Syria, reportedly linked to chemical weapons production, killing at least 18 people and injuring 37 others. The strikes hit the Syrian Military Scientific Studies and Research Center, otherwise known as, of course, SSRC. Doesn't everybody love a good acronym? A site accused by Western governments of playing a pivotal role in Syria's chemical weapons program. Now, the SSRC, located in the Masyaf countryside, has been the subject of international scrutiny since the Syrian civil war, when chemical attacks on rebel-held areas sparked global outrage. Not a lot of action, but certainly a lot of outrage. While Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime insists the facility is for research and development, Israeli intelligence and Western analysts claim it's a hub for strategic weapons production, supplying Iranian-backed forces like Hezbollah. Witnesses reported hearing at least 8 explosions as airstrikes pummeled the area. Syrian state news agency Sana confirmed the death toll, adding that many of the injured remain in critical condition. Explosions were also reported in neighboring areas, emphasizing the scope of the strikes. A local resident told CNN that several buildings were damaged and a key highway in Masyaf was severely impacted, causing fires that firefighters struggled to contain. Syrian air defenses reportedly intercepted some of the missiles, but many hit their intended targets. Israel has conducted hundreds of airstrikes in Syria over the past decade, targeting military sites linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah, and Syrian assets that Israel sees as threats to its security. In recent months, these airstrikes have increased, according to UN Commission reports, with Israel citing the growing influence of Iran, as well as Hezbollah's entrenchment near its borders, as a major security concern. The timing of this latest strike is particularly significant given the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. Hezbollah, in solidarity with Hamas, has engaged in cross-border attacks, of course, against Israel from Lebanon, further destabilizing the already volatile situation in Syria and Lebanon. Hezbollah's presence in Syria has been deeply rooted since the onset of the Syrian civil war back in 2011, when the Lebanese militant group, backed by Iran, of course, aligned itself with Assad to suppress opposition forces. As a result, Syria has become a critical battleground for Iran's proxy forces, including Hezbollah, making it a strategic target for Israel. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Tuesday, 10 September. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. Now, of course, to listen to the show ad-free, well, become a premium member of the President's Daily Brief by simply visiting pdbpremium.com. I told you it was simple. I'm Mike Baker, and I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool.